こっちをスコアル。もうすぐ護衛車両に追いつくから乗り移ろうか。Okay, so we're about to approach the first guard car, so let's jump across. ある程度追いついた時にタイミングよくジャンプすれば少しは時間が稼げるよ、きっと。So it will take some time to jump across. A little time once you press. I think she's saying once you press the jump button, it will take a little time. So 2回の切り離しも含めて作戦終了まで今から5分。ここで時間がかかると先が辛いから頑張ろうね。スコール0、セルフィー。Okay. So from this point, if we linger, we lose time. So I might not do as much translating. Oops. Okay, I think they were saying, why is he not moving? Okay. So this is the first car. Ijo nashi de arimasu. There's nothing wrong right now. Kimi, 今ので2、3 27回目だ。Like, this is the 27th time you've come in to tell me that. ティンバーに到着するまであと何回私の機嫌を損ねればその無駄な情報をやめるつもりかね。He's basically saying, how many times are you going to come in and tell me that? Like, before we get there. しかし、それが我々の任務であります。Like, but this is our mission. We have to come in and annoy you. これでは、お方もキクロが I'm not sure what that word is. Maybe I'll look it up later. Let's just skip over this a little bit. Okay, so this is the first car that we need to disconnect. So, and this is the car that has the two sensors on it. Okay, so they're going to look at the guards that have the sensors for us. What happens if I press L? Squall も自分の目で注意した方がいいよ。L を押している間は左を確認できて離せば元に戻るから。それじゃあパスコードの入力に入るから。入ろうか。Okay. Okay, I remember. I have to move or not move based on... Oh gosh. I'm glad I didn't play this for the first time in Japanese. Oh no, I've blown it. どうしたの？気のせい。It's your imagination, don't worry about it. Okay, I've got to do this part again. Damn. I need to go back up, I think. Alright. Yeah, I did it this time. And it gave me more time on the clock too. Welcome back, TC Almas. So Galbadia soldier. また怒られるんだ、きっと。とはいえ、任務だし。So the soldier's like, I'm gonna get chewed out again, but I'm gonna tell him that there's nothing wrong. No one felt that thudding as the train cars recoupled. Yeah, they did it very smoothly. They're Japanese cars. あれ？怒らない？しかも新聞なんか持ってたっけ？ Was he holding a newspaper before? おい、どうした？何か異常があったのか？ Was there something wrong? Oh, and then they've already switched him with the dummy. That's great. はい。了解いたしましたであります。It's too polite. Oh, I'm... Okay. ほれ、お前もボケっとしとらんで、早く持ち場へ帰れ。Go back to your post. わかりましたであります。This is pretty silly because わかりました by itself is polite, and であります is sort of like des, but it's a more polite version of des. But they've doubled up on the politeness, and it's not Japanese. It's not proper Japanese. They're just like, because they're soldiers trying to do their best, they're like doubling up on the politeness to be double polite, but it doesn't make grammatical sense. 今ので絶対再来月のoh, hang on a sec. Ultra politeness, yeah. 今ので絶対再来月 This is 再来月, the month after next. And then he said 給料, which is salary. And he says, what's happening to the salary? It's nashi. Without. So, 今ので絶対再来月の給料もなしだ. He's basically saying, and with that, I basically have no wages for the next month as well. So he's already lost wages for the current month, and next month he's got nothing. Oh, 間違えた? Like, oh, I was mistaken? By what? 内臓がwhat is it? 内装? Ah, 内装 interior. 内装安い. Oh, okay. 内装が安っぽい. The interior is cheap looking. So 内装が安っぽくなっていたような気のせいか. I feel like the interior got a little bit cheap looking, or is it my imagination? is what he's saying. Oh, sorry, TC Almas. I forgot to wait for your giant fact that you were saving for the save point. Do you want to talk about that now? Because I think if I stay on the scene, nothing... Oh, no, it's quite alright. We'll get to it. Okay, cool. やばい、やばすぎる。プロポーズはまた夢に終わるのか。He wants to propose to his girlfriend, but he doesn't have the money to do it. Poor guy. ここが2つ目の連携部よ。2回目の切り離しね。So we're gonna cut this car off as well. ここも見回りに来る護衛は2人みたい。So there's two guards that come this way as well. ゼロとソルフィはアジト列車の切り離しを手伝いに行ってもらったから。So Renault is going to go off and help the others, and I'm going to do this myself. 今回はスコードは一人で確認しないといけないね。So I've got to do this. I've got to look for the guards myself this time. Okay. Let's do it. Two, 4, 4, 3. Okay. Go back up, go back up, go back up. Ooh. Why is he running to the edge of the train? Okay. 1, 4, 3, 4. I did it. Wait, is there more? 1, 3, 4, 4. Apparently there's more codes in this one. Okay. 1114. Alright, I did it. Tsuyama says, Nashi is effectively equivalent to Nai in meaning, but you have to use it in specific ways. It's kind of one of the older forms of Nai, and it's supposed to be used only in a sentence terminal position. Nani nani ni Nashi is the same form as Yoshi, a sentence terminal position form. You could call it. Yoshi is also equivalent in meaning to E. Yeah, it is, like, both of them are, and I hear people use them both ways. But I never really thought about it having to be in sentence terminal position, although it makes sense. Like, there's a few phrases that are there where it's not, I think. But it's interesting. I like learning about the old reasons why, like the older usages of Japanese, because sometimes they show up in modern Japanese, and then like it can be confusing, especially as a learner. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to say nashi or nai? And what's the meaning? And it's nice to know that it's like there's no real difference. It's just sort of like poetic quality, like to use one over the other. The secret, TCLS, the secret is that all I-type objectives used to have this sentence terminal form ending with shi. It has of course become obsolete, but it's still somewhat known, so using it anyway in parts of pretty stiff, archaic formality to what you're saying. Okay. So it will show up from time to time. We have to be aware of it. いよいよ待ちに待った便座とのご対面だな。Like the thing we've been waiting for at long last. すごいっす。お手軽っす。やるって感じっす。手柄お手柄 is like a glorious achievement. Interesting. じゃあ、情報収集なら任せてくれす。What's is like, leave it to me if it's gathering intelligence. And Zone is like, I get a sore stomach, so I'm not going in there. TC Almas, for my particularly long fact, I'll start with a question. Do you know the difference between a transitive and an intransitive verb? Even if you have to articulate that in the context of Japanese, go for it. Well, a transitive verb takes an object and an intransitive verb doesn't. Right? That's the simple definition. Or the simple difference between the two. Correct. Cool. Runoa says, そこの3人準備ができたら言ってね. Okay, so 準備が整い次第大統領と話し合いを始めます. Once you've completed your preparations, we're going to talk to the president. Which means there's probably going to be a boss fight in a second. So I'm going to wait here while TC Almas gives us more, or rather, Seikai, yes. Actually, excuse me. Let me check that everything is in order. So the next question, you know how lots of verbs will come in pairs, a transitive and an intransitive form? Ochiru, otosu. Yes, I know that. Hey Feely, how you doing? Preparing for a boss fight here. I'm going to keep going because this is probably just going to be a boss fight while you explain. Actually, let me see if there's a save point in here. So there's a trick that works most of the time. Okay, 준비 OK. 디딩 다이토rio. 無駄な抵抗をしなければ機会は What is going on here? This is an interesting sentence. 無駄な抵抗 resistance, opposition. So any useless opposition しなければない So the next word is kigai, which is injury, harm, or danger. So this sentence says something like, if you don't resist needlessly, your injuries will not be added to. Kuwaeru is to add or to append. TC Almas, classical Japanese time. The modern verb suru means do. This is of course a transitive verb. Its classical form used to be just su. And this is why it's irregular in modern language. It was a single syllable verb back then. Oh, that's interesting. Teiko o shitara dou naru toyu no ka ne, Ohime-san? So, I wonder what would happen if I did resist. Hey, princess? どうした?残念だったな says the president. 私は大統領ではない I'm not the president. 世界で言うところの影something. Oh, hang on. There's something wrong about that word. Seken. It's not sekai, it's seken, the world or polite society. This other word he's saying... What is that? Kagemusha. Body double. That's a new word. Second, new tokoro no kagemusha. Toyu yatsuda. So he's saying, I am not the president, I am what in polite society we would call a body double. Tishiyama. So, in those pairs, if one of the pairs ends in tsu, that will always be the transitive one. This is because it is the old verb stem plus the classical verb su, which is what makes it transitive. I kind of intuitively knew that. Like, I don't know if I could explain why, but whenever there's a verb that ends in su, it's you can see it's almost always transitive. But it's actually always, which is good to know. Right, yeah. Timber にはレジスタンスが多いともっぱらの噂だったが So, it's been rumored that the resistance is pretty big in timber. He says oi, which is many, numerous, a lot. I don't know what moppara means. Moppara no uwasa datta ka ga. So he's saying that the resistance was so big in timber. Was that really just a big lie? Or a big rumor? Karuku tame no jouhou o nagashita dake de assari hikkakaru to wa tedo no hikui resistance shika inai you da na. So this is saying he's saying something like we just gently emitted some information and then you got trapped up in it. Just shows you that you're not really much of a resistance, are you? So karui is in this case it's a different reading. Wait, how does this work? Karuku tame. Karuku? Not sure what's going on here. Karuku tame no jouhou o nagashita dake de. I think I don't understand why they're using tame here. Karuku tame. No, I'm gonna have to translate this later. I'll translate it properly later, but like he's saying something like you're not much of a resistance, we let out a little bit of information and now you're here. TCMS. Conversely, we have the verb aru, exist or be. This one's intransitive. Thus, if there's a verb that ends with the sound of aru, like tomaru, this is the intransitive one. Oh, it's the old verb stem, tom, the verb aru. Thus, tomaru. Ta-da! It's a magic trick. That really works. That's really cool. Tedo no hikui. Renelle was like, you calling me a small-minded woman? ずっと座り続けるのも疲れたな、お姫さん. Oh, he's gonna go mental in a second. He's like saying, oh, I was so tired sitting there for so long. 無駄な抵抗をしたらどう理するつもりだったのか. If I was going to resist, this is really interesting. If I was going to resist needlessly, how were you going to cook me up? Because yori means cooking something. 教えてくれないか? Will you tell me how you're going to cook me up? まさかトラップカードが発動? Yes, his trap card has been activated. 程度の低い割に面白いことをするじゃないか. So, even though you're just a small resistance, you've done something interesting, haven't you? あんなことを something する姫は許さん. I will not forgive the princess who or the people who do something. I'm going to skip over that word because it's boss fight time.